The Great Wall of China is actually a vast network of walls, trenches, and natural obstacles that was constructed across the northern part of China. The complicated network that is known as the Great Wall of China is the moniker given to it. Throughout the course of history, the history of China reflects the various needs and capabilities of the countless Chinese emperors who have exercised power over the country. Throughout the course of history, an event like this has taken place. The continual conflict that took place between a number of different regional powers during the historical period known as the Warring Powers, which lasted from 475 BC to 221 BC, was one of the distinguishing characteristics of this era of time. It was at this time that the construction of the initial group of walls in China was completed. These early walls were constructed with rammed earth and wood, which is a reflection of the technology and resources that were available at that time period. Rammed dirt was used to construct the walls. In order to illustrate the construction process, this serves as an example. Walls that were created in a way akin to this one were constructed with the intention of deterring invasions by governments that were placed in close proximity to one another, as well as controlling migration and commerce routes throughout the region. After Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor of the Qin Dynasty, invaded China in 221 BC, he initiated a tremendous effort to connect and extend these existing walls into a more coherent defensive structure. This was done in order to strengthen the defenses of the country. To this day, this attempt is still being pursued. This move was done in order to strengthen the effectiveness of the defenses to a higher level than they had been previously. Additionally, he was the one who was in charge of the construction of the Great Wall of China for the Chinese government. This was their responsibility. He was adamant about defending his kingdom against the Xiongnu, a nomadic people who were indigenous to the northern region of the Chinese mainland. He had a firm resolve to protect his nation from the dangers they posed. All of his acts were driven by this desire, which served as the impetus. Soldiers, peasants, and prisoners were among the thousands of individuals that contributed to the building of the structure. Other individuals who were involved in the construction process included inmates. A group of people worked together to construct the building at the same time. During the process of connecting previous walls and building new ones, they regularly encountered challenging circumstances and terrain that was difficult to manage. This was a challenge for them because they were attempting to establish new barriers. They were faced with a difficult situation. After the Han Dynasty, which spanned from 206 BC to 220 AD, the Great Wall had a substantial expansion throughout that time period. During this time period, the time period was included in the time period. It was at this time period that the wall that was being built was being constructed. The Silk Road was a trade route that connected China to Central Asia and the Mediterranean. The rulers of the Han Dynasty were well aware of the strategic value of protecting the Silk Road, which was a corridor that connected China to both of these regions. Additionally, in the past, this path was also known by the moniker of the Silk Road. They were able to extend the wall into the desert regions that were located along the western boundary by constructing additional sections of the wall utilizing materials that were not only more durable, but also more long-lasting. This allowed them to stretch the wall into the desert regions. China's ability to establish its rule over Central Asia which helped to protect trade caravans from being robbed, was made possible as a result of this growth. It was as a consequence of this that China was able to establish its rule over Central Asia. There was a period of relative tranquility and stability along the northern boundaries during the Tang Dynasty, which lasted from 618 to 907 AD. This era of time lasted from 618 to 907 AD. It was during the Tang Dynasty that this era of time occurred. From that point forward, the construction of the wall during this time period received less of a priority than it had been previously. This was a result of the circumstances that had occurred. Reconstruction and reinforcement of the wall occurred over subsequent dynasties, such as the Liao, 907–1125 AD, and Qin, 1115–1234 AD, dynasties, in response to invasions from a variety of nomadic groups that occurred during the dynasties that came before them. These raids took place during the time period that was mentioned in the line that came before this one. The Ming Dynasty, which spanned from 1368 to 1644 AD, was the time when the Great Wall of China reached its highest point of growth. This was the period of time during which it had reached its highest level of development. Ming emperors made the restoration of the wall a significant priority in order to preserve the stability of the empire in the aftermath of the Mongol invasions that led to the collapse of the Yuan dynasty. This was done in order to ensure that the empire would continue to function normally. In order to guarantee that a defense would be maintained against any other Mongol raids that might take place in the future, this was done in order to assure that the wall would be put back together. It was at this time period that the wall was constructed in the manner in which it will be standing, precisely the same manner in which it is standing at the moment. The longevity of the Ming wall was considerably improved by the employment of bricks and stones in the construction of the wall. This was due to the fact that these materials were utilized in the construction of the wall. The exceptional engineering abilities that were deployed in this project include crenellations for archers and the placing of guard towers at regular intervals. Both of these instances are examples of how the project was completed. Crenellations were developed specifically for the aim of targeting archers. It is said that Badaling, which is situated in close proximity to Beijing, is the location of one of the most well-known sections of the Great Wall itself. Badaling is located in China. The country of China is home to Badaling. A significant amount of restoration work has been carried out in this location, which has quickly become a popular tourist attraction. All of the work that was carried out in this region has been completed. There are instances of the robust construction that was common during the Ming Dynasty that may be found on the walls of Badaling Palace. These are some examples that can be found inside the structure. The long-lasting masonry and watchtowers that may be found there are two examples of the kinds of structures that fall under this category. Other landmarks that should be highlighted include the Jiayuguan Pass, which is located at the westernmost point of the wall. This pass is an important monument that should be recognized. This castle was not only responsible for a significant portion of the trade that took place along the Silk Road, but it also served as an important military station and a major point of control for the traffic that transpired along that route when it was in operation. Additionally, it played a key role in the defense against invaders arriving from the west. In addition to having a substantial impact on the administration of the flow of both people and goods. The significance of each of these functions cannot be overstated. Although it contained a substantial number of defensive measures, the Great Wall of China did not always succeed in preventing invaders from entering China for a variety of reasons. This was the case despite the fact that it possessed a significant amount of defensive features. Throughout the course of history, the wall was put to the test by constantly more advanced weaponry and methods, which led to the formation of problems that were gradually more difficult to overcome. The Qin Dynasty was finally successful in expanding its territory beyond the wall, including places that had previously been protected by it. This expansion took place over the duration of its reign, which lasted from 1644 until 1912 AD. The occurrence of this event occurred throughout the course of its reign time period. The wall's value deteriorated from a military perspective, and it finally reached a point when it was in a condition of disintegration. This was the point at which it was considered destroyed. The Great Wall of China, which has grown to become a symbol in modern times, is a representation of both the ancient majesty of China as well as the unyielding determination of the country. It was declared as a World Heritage Site by the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, in 1987, and it continues to be a popular location for vacations for millions of people each year. The wall is being protected against the effects of human activity as well as the effects of weather and erosion as part of the ongoing preservation efforts that are being carried out. This is one of the components of these activities that is being carried out. Not only is the Great Wall of China a stunning construction, but it also stands as a living monument to the resourcefulness and persistence of the Chinese people in spite of the passage of time. An extensive and storied past that encompasses major cultural, commercial, and military significance is reflected in this. This is a reflection of that history. In a sense, it is a reflection of that particular era. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.